Now, maybe you're thinking by now we've reached almost the end of this training course, but how about level design? We've done a lot of thinking on scripting and on creating gameplay, but how about generating levels or creating levels? Now, the same as with characters in Unity, you have to use different software to also make your levels and then import it into Unity. Now, what I use for a shortcut to generate levels very quickly is the City Engine by Procedural. Now, City Engine is extremely powerful piece of software and it does a whole bunch of modeling for you. Basically, it can create entire cities which are very usable for first-person shooters or RPGs. As you can see here, I have a little city set up, but right now the whole city consists of parking lots. If I select a lot, you can see that it is marked as a lot, and now I can assign a grammar file or basically a shape file to this lot, and as soon as I do that and hit the generate button, it will generate a building on top of this lot. As I zoom in, you can see that these buildings can be very high quality as well as low quality. Now you can change the look and feel of each building by looking at its grammar file. If I open it up, it is kind of like a scripting file, but not the same as Unity. It is actually very easy to understand. It starts with the lot, and then it extrudes it and saves it into a building. Then you take that building and extrudes the front and the back out of it and call it front and back. Then from the front facades and side facades, you start splitting it into floors, adding roofs, and so on until you have a full building. Now, of course, I can have different rule files assigned to different lots and add some random values to generate an entire city. Let me show you how that's done. If I go to File New and then use the City Wizard to have it actually generate a city for me, I can pick the size of the city, and in this case I want to show you how to do a radial city. Yeah, I can change the size of the lots, and I can pick what kind of city I want. So let me hit finish here, and I'm not going to save my changes, and this will start generating the city. Now let me get rid of this menu here. It also happens right here in the background. First, what it starts doing is it starts drawing streets. Now if you're particular about exactly how you want your game to look, of course you can draw these streets yourself. You can even use Illustrator and import them. Now after the streets are done, let me zoom here in just a little bit. After the streets are done, it starts generating lots in between the sizes of the streets. So whatever space is left in between the streets will be turned into lots. The lots are then subdivided at random to make it look a little less mechanical, so that you have small lots and bigger lots, and then the rule files are assigned to the city. Now you can also have your rule file listen to, for example, height maps, so that, as for example what you can see in this city, in the middle the buildings are higher than on the outside, so that you can kind of create a city center. Now if I zoom in here, you can see that the city is starting to be created. These are very high detail as well as very low detail building depending on your settings. Streets are being generated. You can even set it to generate, for example, traffic lights and cars and that sort of thing. But I would recommend for game design to keep your cars inside of the engine. But of course you can add traffic lights and stuff like that to your city and then animate them or bring them to life in Unity. Now we're at 75% now, and as you can see, the city is taking shape. We have some smaller buildings here and some of the higher skyscrapers in the middle. Now if I wanted to export this to Unity, it's actually very easy. You can export the whole city or just a portion of it by going to File and then hitting Export, and then from the export choosing the FBX file type, and this is the exact same file type as what we used for the turret and some other models in our game. So if you want, check it out on procedural.com. This will be a huge time saver instead of having to do all the tedious level design yourself to use the City Engine.